And so today's lesson will be focusing on coordinate geometry. So coordinate geometry is one of the topic in mathematics that always come out. So in WAEC and other exams. So I'm going to be focusing on this geometry by solving some related problems, some difficult problems. But I'll be taking my time to explain every detail. So try and follow along. Get your pen, get your paper, and follow along as we proceed. So the first question I have here says the coordinate of 2 points P and Q in a plane shape, in a plane, are 7,3 and 5,x. So 7,3 and 5,x respectively. So if PQ, that's the line PQ, or distance PQ, is square root of 29 units, find the value of x. So I'm going to be tackling this question right away. So now I have the two coordinates, coordinate P and coordinate Q, which I'm going to label as, this is x1, y1, and this is what? x2, y2. So I have labeled it x1, y1, then x2, y2. Remember, the distance PQ is also given as square root of 29 units. 29 units. So we write the formula for distance in a Cartesian plane. So essentially, what are they trying to say? So for example, you have a y-axis and x-axis like this, and then you have a line. So let's trace this line. Alright, so if you label this as x1 and we label this as x2, then here will be y1 and y2. So the distance between this and this is x2 minus x1. And the distance between here and here is what? y2 minus y1. So if this place is distance PQ, let's say this is P and Q. So distance PQ can be determined using a Pythagoras theorem. So the distance PQ will give us square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So distance PQ from the question is given as square root of 29. So we have square root of 29 equals to, now x2. x2 is 5, so I have 5 minus x1 is 7. So I have 5 minus 7 squared plus y2 is x minus y1 is 3, so x minus 3 all squared. So we proceed by saying square root of 29 equals to 5 minus 2. 5 minus 7 is minus 2. So we have square root of minus 2 squared plus x minus 3 all squared. So we have square root of 29 equals to minus 2 squared will give us 4. That's minus 2 times minus 2. So that will give us 4 plus x minus 3 all squared. Now we are going to take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. So if you take the square root of both sides, we are going to have, take the square of both sides, not square root, square. So we have, because we are trying to remove square root here, so we have 29 all squared equals to square root of 4 plus x minus 3 all squared. Then square. Remember, I'm taking the square of both sides. So the square, we cancel the square root. This we cancel. Then we are left with 9 equals to 4 plus x minus 3 all squared. So I'll do that by saying 29 minus 4 equals to x minus 3 all squared. So 29 minus 4 will give us 25. equals to x minus 3 all squared. So from here, we can find the value of x by taking the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. So if you take the square root of both sides, I'm going to write plus or minus 25. The square root of 25 equals to square root of x minus 3 all squared. Now, but I'm going to add plus or minus here. Why? Because a negative is allowed in a Cartesian plane. In a Cartesian plane, we have the negative side of x and also the negative side of y. So, and also, if you take the square root, if you take the square of a number, let's say 5 square will give us 25, and minus 5 square will give us 25, and then plus 5 square will also give us 25. So anytime I have 25, it can be written as plus or minus 5 squared. Okay? So now with that, so we have plus or minus 5 equals to x minus 3 all squared. Okay? So the square 2 will cancel the square root. So I have x minus 3. So from here we can write it as plus or minus 5 equals to x minus 3. So remember, we have to find the value of x. So I'll take this minus 3 here. If you take this minus 3 here, it becomes plus 3. So I have 3 plus or minus 5 equals to x. So this can be written as either we have 3 plus 5 equals to x, or we can have 3 minus 5 equals to x. So 3 plus 5 is 8 equals to x, or minus 2 equals to x. So we can write it as x equals to minus 2 or 8. And that's the answer to this particular question. Thank you.